This isn't the look I was aiming for, but it's the look we're getting. Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays, everyone. I am joining you from my room in my childhood bedroom, which, to be fair, I should probably just call my second bedroom because I film a lot from here anyway. And it is St. Stephen's Day. If you're in Ireland, it's Boxing Day. If you're in the UK, I don't know what the states say. In Ireland, anyway, you say St. Stephen's Day or Stevens's. So it's the 26th of December, anyway. And I am here. It is, I don't even have my watch on. It is after 6 in the evening, and I am isolating because I have strep throat, which is really great. I sound upbeat now. I'm actually really miserable about this. I'm being a bit of a whinge about it. So basically I'm isolating in my room, and I have everything here, but I'm going to be trying to spend as much time alone over the next few days as possible. So I thought I might film purely because I suppose I wanted to talk about what it means to be sick when you have Addison's disease or adrenal insufficiency, why that's a bit of a challenging scenario to be in, what it means you have to do, what I've done, etc. And also how to mitigate risks and things, because at the end of the day, when you have Addison's disease and you take long-term steroids, they can compromise your immune system long-term, so you are very prone to catching things. I think I'm significantly less prone to catching things than I was pre-diagnosis, but at the same time, having the awareness that it's Addison's disease makes it almost all the more important to act quickly and act correctly. So basically, if you're new to my channel, we've dived straight in. My name is Jen, and I am a writer and a disability advocate, disability support worker, and I'm doing my PhD as well. And at the moment, I'm really feeling the fact that I'm chronically ill as well. However, in my house at the moment, my dad has strep throat and my sister has a lower respiratory infection. So we're doing really well. And my mom is actually holding down the house at the moment, but she is very immune compromised. So we're all very much isolating in our rooms. We didn't have a very typical Christmas day or anything like that, unfortunately. And we are masking when we're out of our rooms and things like that, and we're very much like using our K95 masks. But all that to say, I'm going to be using this time alone, which ironically is something I've been saying I want for a long time, is uninterrupted time to write. I would enjoy it if I felt better, but I feel like I'm swallowing over a golf ball in my throat, at either side of my throat. I went to the doctor today and got my antibiotics, and I got some extra steroids because it's necessary to updose. And I'm mainly freezing. So today is one of my main things, which is a real sign with Addison's disease. Temperature control tends to go out the window. So I'm really cold, and I knew I was coming down with something when I just could not get warm. Which I suppose is the same whether you have Addison's disease or not. It's just almost a pervasive kind of cold that you could sit in a boiling hot bath and it just doesn't permeate, and things. So generally what I want to do today is I am going to do some writing, and I'm going to have a bath, a kind of not very warm bath, because I can't really afford to sweat, because with Addison's disease you have a real tendency to have imbalanced electrolytes, and therefore anything that makes you sweat is not, going to be it's not the goal. So, but I just really want to have an Epsom salt bath, and just kind of breathe that in. And I'm also trying to get to bedtime with seeing as little people as possible. At least I can use the private bathroom and just disinfect that really well after me, and then just go straight to bed is the plan. But yeah, I will talk a little bit more about steroid use and things like that later, and things that we being the Addison's disease community are dealing with. But I'm going to try and do some writing once I have some energy. And at the moment I'm after starting starting the first draft of a new novel, which I'm only about 3,000 words into. It's going to be a short novel. It's middle grade, so I'm aiming for about 20 chapters, and I'm having such a good time. I've been planning this during my lunch hours for months, but just haven't sat down to write, purely because, not because I haven't had time. I haven't had a lot of time, but I have certainly had enough time to start it. But I have just felt frozen every time I've tried about whether I'm secretly really bad at the whole writing thing. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to stop talking because my throat is really sore, and I'm going to take my steroids now and then go for a bath, and we will see. So thanks for joining me in my isolation. Okay, I've had my bath, and I don't feel too bad. My throat is still really, really bad, but I have some of the numbing spray, which gives me such like horror flashbacks to when I first got really sick. First got really sick when I was 18, and I was 2 months into 6th year, which is the final year of secondary school in Ireland. And it started with strep throat, and then I got a bacterial staphylococcus infection, a secondary one, and that continued, and that was quite bad and was antibiotic resistant for quite a while. But so I had that numbing spray for a really long time, and now I sprayed it there, and I'm 31, but it just made me feel like I was 18 again, and like I'm not gonna, like, I didn't realise, like, at 18, getting sick like that really just dropped my immune system to the floor, and let it open for so many other things that happened over the next 11 years until I was diagnosed with Addison's disease. And that journey continues. So it was just a little bit of, like, I don't want to say a trigger, because it wasn't like a war flashback, or something, but it just made me feel like, oh God, I had to actually tangibly remind myself, this is different. I have strep throat, but I know I have Addison's disease. I'll take my extra steroids, things like that I'm in more control of it. And I think I didn't have any control last time. But anyway, that's a total aside. I'm in bed because I'm trying to leave my family alone, and I couldn't be bothered to dry my hair. So I'm just gonna leave it up like this and read for a while, and also watch Stranger Things season 5. And yeah, just relax and hope that tomorrow is a better day. Good morning. I've just woken up, and it's not even technically morning, it's afternoon. And I've gone to the bathroom just so I have my mask on and things, and I've just washed my face, and I feel okay. My throat feels a lot better, but I feel like that could be jumping the gun a bit, considering I got antibiotics yesterday afternoon-ish. So, but at least it doesn't feel worse. But one sign of being unwell with adrenal insufficiency, and this is a sign that I'm still actively fighting something, even though logically I would still be fighting it anyway, because strep throat doesn't disappear in 24 hours, is I had a lot of night sweats. So I need to strip my bed and put on a wash, and I need to wash myself and try to feel alive and things. But the night sweats are a really frustrating part of Addison's disease or adrenal insufficiency, because they are very, I don't know, they're so different to other sweats, I guess, in the sense that it feels like you're losing water. It feels very water-like, but it is very, very hard to stay hydrated when they happen. So I also need to take some hydration sachets now. It's the 27th of December. I have not seen any of my family like I wanted to over Christmas, and like my grandparents or anyone. I'm trying to be okay with that. So yeah, let's strip the bed and eat and like take care of myself a little bit. I'm back at the beach. I'm in Ballyhike, which is a beach slightly further than the beach I usually go to. And I've just been sitting here for a while with my shoes off and the heating on, and just having a coffee that I got at the shop on the way. And there's a man next to me in the car, just next to me, who's reading the paper, and he can definitely see that I'm filming myself and talking, but I just don't really care. but it's a really nice day, so I think I'm going to get out and go for a really quick walk maybe. I don't know if the cold air will be good or bad for me, but either way I'm going to wrap up. I have coats and things in the back of the car. I'm going to wrap up and maybe just go down to the water. But yeah, I guess I'm sitting here thinking, I was having a scroll on Instagram and all I could see was people setting their goals for 2026 and things, and I have made some goals for 2026-ish. Like, some of them are essentially trying to continue what I'm doing, whilst putting, one of my goals is to demand less consistency of myself. So the very nature of setting consistent goals is kind of antithetical to that. But yeah, I just saw a lot of people talking about like also looking forward to the new year because of the change it can bring, and also just the fresh start to things. And I do really feel that. I feel very different this year. Life has been really, it's odd because life was challenging before my Addison's disease diagnosis in a whole different way, but because I was so ill for a long time, it made my world quite small. There were so many things I couldn't do, so therefore my friendship groups were small and consistent and safe. My college world was small and consistent and safe, etc., etc., you know. Since being diagnosed and therefore getting healthier, I say that as I sit here with strep throat, but you know, being healthier generally, it's odd because I guess my world feels bigger in the last, like in 2026, in January 13th, 2026, I will be diagnosed 3 years. In that 3 years, my world has exploded. Like, my career and professional life is much more advanced. It's much more broad. It's big. My academic world is much bigger. The connections I've made are bigger. My friendships are bigger. My housemates are some of my best friends now rather than just people I live with. Because I don't have energy to interact, or like, everything is bigger, but with that growth has come huge growing pains. And I think I'm kind of sitting here thinking about all the things I've lost with those growing pains, including friendships, which I don't think I've lost. They've just changed form, or, you know, changed, I'm doing this, like, changed intensity of almost the elasticity of it because my world's bigger. And also, like, your friends' lives change obviously too. So there's lots of things that have changed, but I guess I'm just thinking about how I feel excited for the future, whilst also I feel simultaneously very much the need to like mourn for that past. That doesn't feel like it makes sense, I guess. I feel like I mourn the safety of that smaller world, of those people, knowing that those people, in becoming healthier, I've also been able to become more myself. More of my personality is free, because when you're chronically ill, obviously there's only so much personality you can showcase to the world, because showcasing your personality is just another form of expending energy. So therefore you have to ration what you give. You have to ration your vibrancy in the world. But being healthier means I can be so myself. Who is ringing me? Dad. I'm gonna ring Dad back in a minute. But I just feel like that vibrancy is kind of a big deal. I also just think my dad is just going to continue to ring me. Like, okay, there we go. I'll ring him back in a second. He just wants me to, I'd say, get like bread in the shop or something. But yeah, it all just feels, I suppose, as my personality has had room to grow and expand and be more myself, that has absolutely coincided with being able to be more autistic, more ADHD, because, you know, at the end of the day, the ADHD allegations aren't going anywhere either. You know, I'm diagnosed there too, but I can be so much more myself unapologetically, and I think that's hard, I guess, for people who maybe have known me in that smaller context for a long time, to adjust to. So I guess I'm mourning when I was, if I was to think about it simplistically, able to be more likable. But I don't think that's really the state of play anymore. I don't think it's about likability. It was just about what I was able to give. I've always been this honest. I've always been this unrelenting. I've always hopefully been this like moral, in terms of my opinions. I think I really have. But I think now that there's just less, I'm just limiting myself much less, I guess, in expressing that. And I suppose with that means that there's adjustments in your friendships and relationships and all of that. And whilst I'm sitting here looking at people's Instagram reels and TikToks and things about 2026 goals, and so many of them are like making more time for myself, not just going out every weekend or whatever, that kind of thing. I realise so much of my life is quieter now, but by design. I don't go out much, I don't really drink anymore, all of that kind of thing, because I feel like I have space and scope to be more myself, because I know that the next day I will probably also wake up with energy and space and scope to be myself. And that has given me freedom to choose a quiet life by choice, not by the limitations of being physically unwell. And that, I think, has been a hard contrast for a few people, or a hard change for a few people, and I totally understand that. And there's a huge part of me that's going to misses the me that those people liked, maybe, and maybe loved, because part of the thing with me, I guess, in my personality is that I'm so consistent in who I am and who I love and who I care about, that I don't think there's I don't know if there's anything these people could do to really make me stop loving them. And these friends, like old friends, even friends from primary school I haven't talked to anymore, things like that. It's like, you know, you move on with your life, but you still know your primary school best friend's birthday. Or like, I still know one of my best friends from Irish college's home phone number off by heart, even though we've been spoken in 15 years. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I think those are just like indelible marks of love. And I hope that they have them for me, and that we can move forward with that same love, but in a way that allows everyone to feel the full scope of who they are. This is a really long chat, because this is the most logical and rational I've been about it. I've actually been quite upset about it, because I have simultaneously loved my health and how much healthier I've been, but I've also been really, really, really sad that I can't be my old self who had this consistent small world, which is strange because it's almost like missing a cage. But at least I knew the exact limitations of that cage. There was safety in the cage. The cage, by the way, is the chronic illness, not my friends or anything at the time. They were they were and are my bright sparks in a world that still feels caged sometimes. Now I'm going to get out of the car and go for a walk, but I can see a few lads have brought out their hurleys and slitter. And I hate walking the beach when people are playing hurling or like camogie and things, just because I have the absolute fear of being hit in the head with a slitter. A slitter is a ball in hurling, which is an Irish sport. I can't explain it, but it's like, it's such a speedy sport, but the ball is dangerously freaking harsh if it hits you. But I'm still going to get out and go for a walk and just walk down to the water. It's going to start getting dark soon anyway, so yeah, thanks for listening to my rants. And then I think I will probably need to go home and like lie down and take my antibiotics again. So yeah. I always love these little pools, and I like when they're very big in summer generally, because when we were little my mom used to bring me and my sister down here and we'd play in the pools. I don't know, I used to imagine they were like the rivers in the Amazon, but really they're just west of Ireland, Atlantic Ocean. I have 2 scarves on and it was freezing. It is 5.5 degrees. I would translate that to Fahrenheit, but I don't know what that is in Fahrenheit, but it's cold. but it's really, really nice. This time last year I think we had, oh my god, why can't I get my coat off? This time last year we had snow, so, or we had frost or something. It was hard to go anywhere. So this is still really, really nice. So I'm gonna sit here for a bit and I'm gonna read. Where's my Kindle? I brought my Kindle and I'm gonna read, and I'm actually gonna fill out the last few entries of my gratitude journal for 2026. 2025, it's not 2026 yet. This is like my sister's Christmas cards this year. In all of her Christmas cards she wrote, I hope 2027 is really good to you. So yeah, I have a few entries to fill out of things, and then yeah, this will be coming up on my 10th year of doing one of these, so I might as well finish that up and sort that out and just basically warm up before I drive home. I'm back a day later. Well, a day later from when I started this vlog. It's just the same day in the evening, but I'm back in the same position. That's what I was gonna say. And I'm currently cutting out images to do my 2026 vision board. Which I thought was kind of on topic, considering like I was talking earlier about kind of people coming up with their 2026 goals. But I don't do vision boards in the same way as, like, I don't make them a traditional board anymore. I do them in my bullet journal next to images of the thing. So I'm going to cut out these images and kind of put them in my bullet journal, write some notes next to them. Some of them are around health, some of them are around like places I'd like to travel. Others are around, you know, financial goals I'd like to work towards. None of them are, to be honest, super intense, but because like I said earlier, I'm trying to put less pressure on myself to demand consistency of myself. So, but at the same time, they have the ethos. So, and some of them are like the vibe I'm going for, which is like around focused work plus reasonable time for relaxation and things. So yeah, that's what we're doing. It is day 3 here of isolation in my room, and I have not filmed anything today, even though I have done some writing, because I have been really struggling with nausea from the antibiotics. I have a pretty bad penicillin allergy, so I take obviously non-penicillin antibiotics when I have to, and unfortunately I just get really nauseous with them. Downside of having adrenal insufficiency, of which there are plenty, to be fair, the upsides are not really there, is that becoming nauseous in any degree can make you liable to throw up much easier, and then obviously if you throw up, you can't keep your steroid medication down, therefore your body goes into an adrenal crisis. So obviously nausea needs to be treated kind of seriously, I guess, from the off. So today I've just been lying in the dark and trying not to breathe too intensely or anything that is impacting my stomach. I did ask the doctor when I saw him if I could get some anti-sickness tablets to go with the antibiotics, and he said that he didn't see it was necessary. I tried to explain how necessary it was, because I don't think he knew that much about Addison's disease, but I was so unwell and tired, I didn't really argue the toss and the point, and I should have. So I'm paying for it now, but I'm feeling a little bit better now this evening, and I am feeling okay throat wise, strep wise. My throat feels pretty much normal again, which is great. And I'm gonna get a swab done tomorrow, I think, just to see where I'm at, because we have a family wedding in 4 days time. So I'm gonna see where we are for that. Because obviously I'm not going to go if I'm going to infect everyone, as much as I would hate to miss it. But yeah, overall I'm finding the excess steroids are, as usual, giving me a bit of a lift. I don't mean they don't give me a lift in the sense of energy or even a mood lift or anything. Realistically, that's not what they do, but I do feel like they generally, when you're unwell, when you have Addison's disease and you take a replacement for cortisol, you take synthetic cortisol, taking that means that if you become unwell, your body burns through that synthetic cortisol much faster, and therefore you don't have any natural stores to rely on. And I don't think you realise the background kind of symptoms that come with any kind of sickness. Like strep throat is obviously, you know, really painful in your throat, but you don't realise the pain that comes in your bones, or the general brain fog that reaches another stage beyond typical flu brain fog that comes with adrenal insufficiency and Addison's disease, that having that extra dose of steroids really, really helps. So it's more those kind of symptoms that I'm finding that really good for. I am dreading coming down off the steroids again. I'm double dosing at the moment, and I'm on day 3 of double dosing. And the idea is, according to the doctor, that I should be able to reduce from tomorrow because I'm not that symptomatic or anything. But I generally just hate coming down off them because I find my sleep is impacted sometimes. Though that doesn't happen that frequently. But other than that, I'm not doing too badly. All of this has just not been, I suppose, the Christmas I envisaged, but I think I rarely have had a Christmas I envisaged over being sick over the years. And this kind of sickness is one that I can definitely not manage, in the sense that at the end of the day, I still need the help of antibiotics, I still need to see a doctor, I still need, you know, to do all those things, but I just think I can face this because it doesn't feel like there's no end in sight, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's where we're at, and I am going to eat a good bit of salt this evening. I feel very salt deprived. Even though I didn't have any night sweats last night, I didn't feel off in any way that way in terms of electrolytes, but I feel it now. I feel myself craving salt. So I'm going to have some salt, see how I can do with that. And yeah, hopefully things will be a bit better tomorrow. You never know. I do need to do a writing application tomorrow for, well, I need to finalise it. I have all the bits. I do this thing where I put the CV here and the writing statement there and the statement of intent here and all this kind of stuff, and then I collate it all last minute, which is the very ADHD part of me. So I need to do all that. But for now, I'm gonna eat some salt and I'm gonna relax. You guys, okay? This angle is a little bit mad, but we're gonna take it as it is. It's been a few days. First things first, I have a wedding tomorrow on New Year's Eve, and I'm testing out a lip colour. So that's why I have lipstick on and a lip stain on and nothing else. I just want to see how long it lasts. So ignore that. But it's been a few days, it's been about 2 more days, and I finished my antibiotics and I'm doing much, much better. And I'm clear, thankfully, so no more strep. So I feel really, really good. I feel tired, but like, I think I also feel tired because it's my first time properly resting in a long time. And a lot of that comes from, I suppose, having to do work, PhD, blah, 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 like the busy way in which I've constructed my life. But I'm in good form, and today I need to do things. I need to do some wedding prep things, like I need to take cash out. So I need to go to the shop. I need to pack because we're staying overnight in a hotel. I need to download some inspiration pictures for makeup that I'm getting done. I'm getting my makeup and my hair done. Need to figure out that, and all that, those kind of things. I need to do my nails, and I need to help my mom with her nails because she refuses to learn to do her nails, which is fair because I refuse to learn to like plait my own hair. So, you know, we balance out. But I also need to do to submit my final submission for the Irish Writers Centre are doing a national mentoring programme, which they've done for a few years, I think, and basically they connect like experienced authors and people in the publishing industry with up-and-coming writers for guidance and things. But you have to submit a writing 2 writing samples, a writer's statement of intention, and a statement of your writing style. I have all of those things done. Oh, and a writer's CV. I have them all done, but I finished them last night, and I'm wary anytime I finish anything late at night that I'm a little bit unhinged and it's a little bit bad and I haven't noticed. So I'm going to submit that this afternoon when I've read through it again and like I'm sure that what I wrote actually made sense. So I need to get that done. I need to do my finances plan, which I think it's potentially telling that my camera fell when I was talking about my finances plan. I mean, it tells you how I feel about it. I need to do my finances plan, which is the worst part of after Christmas, because I just need to, because January is a 5-week month for before I get paid, so I need to figure out that, and I hate doing that so much. So those are all just the little like admin bits I need to do. The bit I'm kind of most excited to do, or would like to sit down and do straight away, is the writing program thing, but I know the bit I'm going to put off is the finances and taking out cash and that kind of thing, and then I'll end up doing it this evening in a kind of panicked way, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to take my ADHD meds and do that, and see how long this lip colour lasts, which will hopefully look a lot better in better light when I have makeup done and I'm wearing like a glitzy dress and not just like this. And yeah, we'll see how it goes, but you can join me. But I think I'm going to make a coffee first and then sit down and do the finances bit and make myself do it. Ugh. There's no good angle here. We're in my kitchen at home. As you can tell, you're inside a press. But I'm making a coffee, and the one thing I haven't learned whilst being home is how to use our frother here without overfilling it. Because whenever I fill it to the point at which it says, it still explodes. So we're just going to go with it and see what happens. But I feel like I'm probably going to need 1 or 2 coffees today. I feel a little bit headachy today as well. I know that's because it's where I am hormonally, which means I might feel more headachy tomorrow at the wedding, which I'm really hoping won't be the case. But I think you kind of know yourself enough, you know? Let's make this coffee. Okay, I'm having my coffee. This coffee smells so strong. I was about to say I wish I understood Nespresso pods, like the different pods. I could Google them. And I haven't. So that's on me. But this coffee smells really strong. And I think the one I picked is really strong, but I think I need it, to be honest. Like, I think I need just a little bit of a, you know, just a bit of a buzz. So yeah, I also think because I'm quite headachy and hormonal, sometimes the caffeine really helps headaches, which is kind of odd. Well, maybe it's not odd. I think caffeine maybe restricts blood vessels and things in the brain. So maybe it makes sense. So I'm going to try and just drink this. I'm going to write a wedding card, do my finances, and not procrastinate looking at my finances. The irony is, when I pulled out my desk today, I found one of the photos, the laminated like photos to go on my vision board in my bullet journal that I was cutting out the last day that I obviously missed, and it's the one about the amount I want in my savings account by the end of the year. So, you know, let's do it. Money, adulting, yay. Okay, I've been here for a little bit. I've had my coffee, and I'm just writing up my to-do list for the day. And it's funny, like, I find this quite upsetting to talk about or to think about, but I think I've noticed talking about my health, insofar as I am comfortable at any given moment on a video or just externally, without immediately getting someone's feedback. Like if I was talking to a person who's right in front of me and they were immediately telling me, oh, that makes no sense, or that experience sounds crazy, or that must be so difficult, I immediately absorb that reaction. Obviously we all do, I think, but whereas when I'm talking to a camera and there's a delayed reaction, it helps me process a lot. And I'm noticing, like, I'm having a day, I'm sitting at my desk and I'm having a day where it's very hard to hold a pen. And I didn't know that until I started and picked up the pen, and I need to write the wedding card, and I'm struggling to hold the pen. And I can't describe it. It's like my movements in my hand get very robotic, but it's not just my hand. Like, that feeling is extending all the way up through my muscles into my shoulder and my back. And this is where I'm being tested for some neurological conditions and muscular myopathies, because there seems to be some abnormal muscle function in my body, which I think has been there for a long time, because I've had unexplained aches and pains, and inability to do certain things for a long time, but certainly since hitting 30 it just kind of fell off a cliff. But I'm finding it really hard today to hold a pen and to write. Like I can't, and I will really focus on doing this card and I'll do it, but for some reason if I was struggling to, like, say tie a button or do up a zip, it would be upsetting and it's frustrating. But writing acutely is really, really upsetting. And I know it's because I write, and I know it's because it's my means of, like, relaxing into the world and navigating the world, but I just really find it quite upsetting. So this is taking me so much longer to do than if I'd just done it yesterday. And that's where it's difficult, is because it's very unpredictable. Like this experience could last for days, weeks, or it might just be today. So, and like that, I'll probably talk about it a bit more. I've obviously done a lot of, like, tracking when it happens, discussing it with, I have 2 neurologists at the moment, looking at it and things. So, like, there's no point going into massive detail of, I suppose, what it could be or might be at the moment, because I have medical professionals to look into that. So I don't really think that kind of discourse is very helpful online. But I do still want to be realistic and show you that there's some days this is just really, really hard. So I just don't know. And also part of it is because I love handwriting. I struggle when my writing in a notebook is not really perfect. That's an autism thing, probably. And also because I taught myself cursive writing when I was little. I love handwriting. I taught myself calligraphy when I was little, even though I've completely forgotten that. But so I think I need to start being better at learning to just write it down badly and just, like, let it look messy. But I'm very bad at letting anything look messy. So yes, we're gonna do that. But I'm gonna try and find my easiest pens, like my most useful pens to write with. I tend to write really well with the what are these ones? The Pilot Frixion, I don't know if that's how you say it, ball pens. They're very good at gliding, because in work we are a paperless office, so we use reusable notebooks, and these are obviously the ones you can erase. But I do think today, I'm not sure if anything's going to help. Like, this actually it doesn't feel sore. It's very hard to explain. It feels simultaneously numb, and also like there's shocks going through my hand, which is why at the start, when all this started, I did think this was very likely, you know, carpal tunnel or something like that, except that sensation might happen in my face, or it might happen in my feet or something like that. So it seems to be a kind of body scenario, like a whole muscular system scenario. That's the current theory anyway. We'll see what happens in 2026, but I'm gonna just do my best. I don't know if you can tell, but it's actually, like, it upsets me quite a bit when it gets like this, because you just feel really acutely out of control of your body. So, like, yeah, it's fine, and it's fine that it's not fine right now. Okay, I'm back from the shop where I took out cash. I managed to write the card for the wedding without my hand dying, and I have very slowly, and I mean so slowly, painted my toenails, because obviously handwriting is difficult, but it just means my dexterity is difficult, and it doesn't always happen, but it tends to happen more in my dominant hand. Although I don't know if that's just because I notice it more in my dominant hand. So for right now, I am taking a break from writing things to do my submission for the National Mentoring Programme and reread what I wrote and see if it makes sense, because this is going to be so highly applied for. I don't know if that's the right phrasing. So I'm going to see what I can do, and get it kind of, get it across, and get it submitted, and hopefully, like, I don't know, hopefully it would go well. The deadline is tomorrow, which is New Year's Eve at 5 p.m, and obviously I'll be at the wedding, so I need to get it done today. So we're gonna do that. So I'm going to be applying, you can apply under fiction, creative non-fiction, children/YA fiction, and poetry. I'm applying under children and YA fiction. I could apply under fiction and creative non-fiction as well, but I tend to lean towards YA. The novel I'm editing at the moment is YA, and the novel I'm writing at the moment is middle grade. And it tends to be where I prefer to sit, so I think I would most benefit from that kind of thing. So it says here, this is on the Irish Writers Centre's webpage, it says, we currently have more than 80 professional writers to choose from on our mentoring list, made up of poets, prose writers and children/YA writers. Most writers on our mentor list have published 3 or more books with traditional publishers and have a wealth of teaching and or mentoring experience. So yeah, let's see. I'm gonna see what I can do. And yeah, it closes at 7 p.m. on the 31st of December 2025. So, and I need to submit via Submittable, and I really like submitting via Submittable for things because it saves your answers for everything. Which is really, really, real handy. It says that a minimum of 35 mentoring relationships are on offer and applications open via Submittable on Friday 31st of February 2025 and close on Sunday the 2nd of March. Oh, I think they're using an old Submittable and they just reactivated it and didn't change the dates. Does that make sense? Because it also says the 31st of February. I don't know what February has 31 days, but okay. So I feel like that just wasn't edited, but that's fine. So we will just get that submitted and do that, and I'm going to wait for my toenails to dry and then hopefully do my actual nails with my mom. But let's do this. Okay, nails are done. My mom's nails are done, which is a bit of a miracle because it was entertaining to see her figure that out. Toenails painted, I'm packed, and our Christmas tree light stopped working this evening. I was going to film this clip in front of our lovely Christmas tree, but the lights really make the tree, don't they? So they're not working. But either way, I'm going to do my best to wind down early because I'm getting my hair done at 9 a.m. So I need to be up kind of early to shower and all of those things before the wedding, but then I'm just gonna try to enjoy the day. I am kind of nervous about keeping up with the momentum of everyone and the energy, the physical energy, but also the social energy of everyone. And then also when people drink a lot and then I don't drink, like I drink alcohol, but not really that much. I'm nervous about that because I find myself becoming so overwhelmed so easily these days. But anyway, that'll be tomorrow's problem. I've decided in my head I'm gonna take it hour by hour from an autism point of view and from an Addison's point of view. We're also staying in the hotel where it is, so I can always just go upstairs and go to bed. Like, it's not a thing where I have to make a big thing out of like getting a taxi or going home, or, you know, it doesn't have to be that noticeable. So I'm gonna do that. But yeah, thank you for watching this weird vlog with me and just being a place where I can just talk things out without having to immediately absorb and judge my reaction based off other people's reactions. As I try to figure out what I think about things. It means a lot and I really appreciate it, and I hope you all had a lovely holiday period if you celebrate, and have a really nice 2026, and I will see you in 2026 talking the same nonsense probably. But bye guys.